Hello, and welcome to Replay Value. Kyousougiga's OP, Koko, or This Place, is among the best OPs I've ever watched. Which frankly shouldn't be surprising given that Rie Matsumoto directed both of Kekkai Sensen Season 1 themes, and Baby I Love You, all of which are S-tier productions easily. I've already given praise to 2 of those 3 here on the channel, and I'll be taking a look at Hello World sometime in the near future. But before we get to my favorite of the bunch, we're going to take a pit stop at the runner-up. Kyousougiga is a beautiful story that I frankly cannot recommend enough. A tale about family and purpose, the immediacy of time and space, yet its irrelevancy, all with the brilliant direction of Matsumoto. It feels, somewhat appropriately, like a precursor to Kekkai's first season, both in terms of style and substance, especially in the anime original edition of Black and White, but I think I'll save that discussion for another time. And instead jump straight into a breakdown of Koko, the OP that almost brought me to tears the final time I listened to it within the context of the show. Obvious spoilers incoming, but let's be honest, you probably weren't going to click on this video if you hadn't already seen the show, and if you did, you probably took a wrong turn. Don't worry about it, it happens to the best of us. Playlist you're looking for can be found in the top right. We enter the OP with the lightning strike that is synonymous with Koto's hammer. Aratama is destruction and used to travel the planes. So in this moment, the audience is likely traveling to the Looking Glass City. And this is borne out by the fact that we see 12 colored circles, the 12 planes of which Looking Glass is the 13th. Each of these circles is a color contrast, sharply drawing boundaries between the two. On the last circle, we see the animal caricatures from the scrolls after which the series was partially named. It's also the form that the creator takes at the end of the story as it looks down on the viewer. This is foreshadowing that the creator is watching everything that transpires in the show as he makes his penultimate decision from heaven, and then his final one on the moon between dimensions. It also sets up an important element about perspective, which we'll see throughout this OP. The song breaks into the melody and we see a crayon-drawn background fantastically moving around, fitting for a story about a god whose drawings came to life and serve as the setting for the majority of the tale. From there, we pixelate dissolve to Koto being filmed on a camera, a smile on her face as she poses, and we see that most of this OP takes place within this gridded box, with the background shifting, a real-world city, swirls, space. It's both unlimited and yet extremely limiting. It can be anything, but the places you can go within it are limited. Myoe then replaces her, uncaring about the existence of the camera, as we cut to the setting that made him into Myoe, where he gained the power of creation from his father. Destruction, represented by Koto, leading to creation, Myoe, which brings us to the moment that they started to understand each other in these fields. And the creator, both of their powers combined, yet again. This right-to-left movement brings us to Yase, surrounded by her monsters, followed by Kurama, surrounded by his team. Myoe and Koto were both alone, accurate for the beginning of their stories, and we'll see that evolve throughout this OP, both looking for family and finding it in each other. Yase looks like she's about to yawn or sneeze, but stops herself when she sees the camera, annoyed by its presence in capturing a non-princess moment and giving it a side-eye. Compared to Kurama, who is, again, uncaring about the existence of the camera, but transitioning to a smile as he rotates around it, keeping up appearances. Yase and Kurama also take the left and right sides respectively, while Myoe takes the center, the Council of Three in their stations. We cut through some of the abstract features of Looking Glass City before settling on Ah and Un, who remain in the box despite the cut to black, as we see more of the drawn citizens of the Looking Glass City and Lady Koto's rabbit form, which randomly takes on a green tint, the sign of creation that Inari indeed drew her to life. That slight green tint sets up the green sphere in the next shot as we static dissolve to Lady Koto, trapped on her moon between dimensions, thinking about her family as we cut in letterboxed form to her husband, Inari, walking away from the camera in a pathway indicative of the shrine's colors, and with a cape that disappears like wisps of smoke, suggesting an inhuman nature to the being. Fittingly, since he's a god. That flow to the right creates space on the left, which Koto fills, looking up to the camera as Myoe fills that empty space in turn and doing the same. their eyes becoming clear, with Myoe's power of creation being balanced by Koto's power of destruction. Again, mirror images. The shot between dimensions foreshadowing for the final scene where they accept their powers. What follows is Koto chasing the black rabbit, the thing that sent her on this adventure, and in that decision, swings her hammer. That in turn destroys the thing that each of her 3 siblings were hung up on. Myoe about his inability to die, Yase about station opening and in turn losing her mother, and Kurama about wanting to leave the capital. Koto helps each of these characters get over their hang-ups over the course of the series, shattering the glass around these memories. The catalysts for a lot of this pain, the separation of Inari and Lady Koto, is shown in the separation of their hands. As the background turns to black, while they're looking glass city, the central piece continues onward with their children, shining brightly. Even as they're removed from it, they cannot help but rotate around what they considered their home, and each other, trying to reach out but unable to bridge that gap. All the while, the other planes continue to spin on as they appear in the space in between. That circular motion is match cut to by one of Myoe's prayer beads, the power of creation, which in turn gives way to a world, and a shadowy one behind it, presumably the mirror capital. We return to the box yet again as the surroundings change to the strands of DNA that we once saw as Inari gave the prayer beads to Myoe, which arguably make Myoe look like Inari, and further suggesting the familial bond, which grows more when Myoe and Koto appear. As Myoe accepted Koto as family long before they discovered they were actually siblings, and their bond suggested to be stronger than any DNA ties in a family that entirely lacks them. Myoe and Koto continue their mirrored parallels, with Myoe looking up, eyes open, and Koto looking down, eyes closed. And then we finally reverse the shot, seeing what was behind the camera all along, an open blue sky. The OP ends not on a feeling of a world closed off from everything else, as the Looking Glass City originally was, but one of freedom. And if home isn't findable in that box, there's plenty of space out there to try and find one. Koko is an amazing OP visually, and that's not even really getting into the beautiful lyrics or the nostalgic tune. Maybe I'll come back to Kyousougiga sometime soon to talk more about the show in its totality, how it accomplishes a really grand narrative on such a small scale, or relating it more to Kekkai Sensen, but for now I'm happy that at this moment, in this place, we were able to talk about this OP.